Someday, in the not-so-distant future, it happens. The moment you realize you're ready for anything. Get a degree in emergency management from Jacksonville State University and be ready for where you're going.
This is your Weather Extreme video for Sunday, May the 18th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. There's a look at the Skycam network, and clouds increased overnight as we look at Fayette Skycam. And there are some showers in the area, although it wasn't raining at Fayette at the particular time we took this Skycam shot. And there's Birmingham, and Birmingham a little further to the south, the showers a little further to the north. Satellite image showing that the northern half of the state basically is pretty much covered in clouds with some clear skies and some sun coming up for the southern part of the state of Alabama. The surface pattern continues to show a bit of a stationary front that lies across the southeastern U.S. with much of the active weather just along and north of that stationary front, and that's going to make for a challenging forecast today, since the showers and rain and thunderstorms that are occurring are generally along that boundary and just north of the Birmingham area. So north of the Birmingham area, you're likely to stay in the 60s today. South of the Birmingham area, you're probably going to get into the 70s. North of the Birmingham area, you're probably not going to see much in the way of sun, but you're going to see rain, whereas south of the Birmingham area, you'll probably see a good deal of sunshine later this afternoon. In the upper atmosphere, of course, we've had this what seems to be a semi-permanent feature, but it is finally beginning to weaken of a trough over the eastern half of the country, and that has brought the rather coolish weather for the last several days. Temperatures this morning starting out generally in the 50s across the area, a little bit warmer as you get down into the south part of Alabama, get around 60 degrees. It is just a few degrees cooler in the area where they're getting rain. And there's a look at the overall radar this morning, showing that band of showers that extends all the way from just east of Little Rock, across the Memphis area, Tupelo, and down across Coleman and over to about Jacksonville, Piedmont area. QPF-wise, that's the area that's going to see much of the rain across the northern third of the state of Alabama, with probably on the order of a half to 3/4 of an inch for most locations. Storm Prediction Center is not outlooking any severe weather for us. They do have a small area of slight risk over in Georgia, and then there's a fairly large slight risk area up in parts of the Dakotas, Wyoming, and Montana as well. And the tropics are not active in the Atlantic, but they are showing a little signs of activity, although we're not expecting any significant development with this cloud mass that's off the Mexican coast in the South Pacific. But certainly interesting to see some activity already. And, of course, the eastern Pacific hurricane season has already begun. All right, the 06 GFS model run, and there's our surface map for today at midday and showing that band of showers. It looks like it's going to be sticking around generally along and north of the I-20 corridor. When we get out to Monday, we see that the upper trough has finally edged a little bit further to the east as we're coming under the influence of the ridge that is building from a pretty strong upper high over northern Mexico as that extends basically northeastward up into the Great Lakes area. And that ridge will help to dry things out a little bit across the area. Although Monday, I'm still a little bit concerned that we might see some isolated showers with this band of moisture that will probably be causing some showers in Georgia. We'll head out to Tuesday, and the ridge builds in stronger, and the ridge is really the big news for the upcoming week. The big 588 height contour comes in there on Wednesday, and that stays put on Thursday. So we're basically going to be warming up, and it looks like we will probably be nudging the 90-degree mark by Thursday, maybe even Wednesday. It's going to be close as that upper ridge gets that much stronger. And, of course, underneath that, we do have surface high pressure, too, that is helping to keep things dry as it cuts off moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. By Friday, we're beginning to see the ridge assaulted from two angles. Number one is the closed low over I guess you'd call it the Canadian Maritimes, just to the east of New England, as well as the closed low over Southern California. So the ridge is being attacked from both directions there, and it looks like the ridge retrogrades a little bit as the center of the ridge moves back closer to the eastern slopes of the Rockies, and we see that the trough comes in on the east coast of the United States. So that means we might be seeing a bit of a backdoor cold front in the vicinity of Saturday or Sunday as we head into next weekend. By Sunday, we see that the ridge is still just to our west, so it looks like, if anything, that should at least knock down the heat a little bit in the way of knocking down a few degrees off of the highs. Still probably going to be in the 80s. Going out into voodoo country, and certainly an interesting pattern. The ridge makes a comeback around the 27th, but we also have that little short wave coming out of the Four Corners area and over the Texas Panhandle. And we also have this deep trough off the Atlantic, and that creates a little interesting mischief around the end of May, the 31st. We see a nice closed low just off of the North Carolina, the Outer Banks area. And we see that stays meandering around out there. And, of course, this is June 2nd, so we're into the Atlantic hurricane season. And, no, I'm not going to speculate. It could be very interesting. We'll have to watch that developments. But, after all, it is voodoo. Well, thanks for tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. James Spann should be back with the next edition first thing on Monday morning. In the meantime, stay tuned to the blog for the latest weather updates. Have a great day, and Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.